Hey guys, welcome to Section 4, Chapter 6 of the Algebra 1 program. And in this section, we're going to learn yet another form of linear equations. And all of these things are going to culminate for us in the next section, but it's like adding another tool to your toolbox. So this section is point-slope form. So we've learned slope-intercept form. This is the first one, also known as y-intercept form. And this is actually our favorite form because we can do so much when a function is in this form. And it looks like y equals mx plus b. And remember, m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And then the second form that we learned is standard form. And that takes the form ax plus by equals c. And we don't usually put functions in this form, but often functions are given to us in this form. And so that's why it's important for us to be able to finagle it. And then finally, the form we're going to learn today is called point-slope form. And this is really helpful when you have a slope and a point. So notice our m here. M is still always going to represent the slope. But then also in this formula, we can utilize a given point. And that given point takes the form x1, y1. And so this is going to be really helpful to us in this section and in the next section. Okay, let's jump in. Hopefully you guys are getting really comfortable putting things in y-intercept form and then graphing them. Let's just review one quick example. Let's say if I have y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 2. And we want to put this in y-intercept form, and then we want to graph it. Well, we're going to go ahead and distribute this negative 2 here. And then I'm going to add 5. And I'm going to get y equals negative 2x plus 9. And I'm hoping you guys are feeling very good about your graphing at this point. Remember, we start at the y-intercept, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then my slope is negative 2, which means it's going to run left. So if you want to go up 2 and then to the left 1, that's fine. Or if you're feeling comfortable, you can go down 2 and over 1 and down 2 and over 1. And we should have a graph that looks like this. All right, I'm hoping that you feel very good about that. All right, so now in this section, you're going to be given a point like negative 1, 4, and a slope. Let's say it's 1/4. And we want to write this in point-slope form, and then we're going to put it in y-intercept form. So what we need is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. All right, and now we're going to just plug in. Remember, my point is x1, y1. So y minus 4 is going to equal my slope, which of course is 1/4, x minus x1, which is negative 1. Now be careful of those negatives, right? So let's clean this up a little bit, and it's going to be x plus 1. Now this is point-slope form. For some of the questions on your homework, they're going to ask you to put the given information in point-slope form. This is what they're looking for. You haven't done anything, you've just plugged in, which is super nice. But then, of course, they're going to ask you to solve it and put it into slope-intercept, also known as y-intercept. So in order for us to be able to do that, now we have to distribute this 1/4. And then we're going to add 4 here, 4th. And then you can write 4 and 1/4 if you want, or you can put it as an improper fraction, whichever you feel more comfortable with at this point. The mixed number actually makes it a little bit easier to graph. So this is slope-intercept form. And then, of course, we could graph this, right? All right, so let's just practice that again. Let's say we're given the point 3, 0, and then the slope 2/3. All right, so y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And we're going to plug in. So y minus 0 equals our slope, which is 2/3. X minus our x point is negative 3. This is point-slope form, which makes us very happy. Now let's solve it for y-intercept. Y equals 2/3 x minus 2/3 times 3. How do we do that? Just to review, 2/3 times 3 over 1. You can cross reduce. If you don't see it though, just multiply across and we get 2. So y equals 2/3 x minus 2. That's our y-intercept form. All right. And we should be good here. We should be able to graph this. Super easy. Throw it up on a graph. Start at -2. 1, 2, 3. Start at -2. Then you go up 2. Run 3. And we're running to the right. Why? Because this is positive. I'm freehanding it today. I decided to add in these graphs for you. Okay, we should be feeling very good. All right, there's one other problem type that they're going to give you. What if they just give you 2 points? What if they give you 1, 0 and -1, 2? What do we do then? Remember our form, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, requires both a point and the slope. Well, we have 2 points and no slope. But remember back in section 1, we learned the change of y over the change of x, which was y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1 as a way of giving us our slope, right? So we could plug in accordingly. 2 minus 0 equals -1 minus 1 and get 2 over -2, which gives me -1. And now I have my slope, right? Now you can use either point here in order to be able to plug in. I'm going to do both for you so you can see you'll get the same answer. So let's say we take the first point, 1, 0. So y minus 0 equals my slope, -1, x minus 1. Now solve this for y. Y equals -x plus 1. All right, we distribute that -1. All right, now let's use our second point. Y minus 2 equals our slope, -1, x plus 1. I'm going to go ahead and make that negative times negative. Hopefully you guys are feeling comfortable with that. Y minus 2 equals -x minus 1. Now add 2. If I add 2 here, I get plus 1. And voila, we have the same line. So either point is fine to use here. We just want to go ahead and get our slope using change of y over change of x. Okay, I'm going to do one more for you, and you're going to be good to go. What if I have -3, 4, and then 3, 2? I want change of y over change of x first. So I'm going to get 2 minus 4 all over 3 minus a minus 3. Be careful there. 2 minus 4 is going to give me a -2. Then 3 plus 3 gives me 6, which gives me a -1/3 here for my slope. Now grab either point, doesn't matter, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. If you're not writing this formula over and over again, you should be, so that it becomes super familiar and you can just grab it anytime you need it. So typically I just grab the first point, y minus 4 equals my slope, -1/3, x plus 3. Remember, it's a minus minus here, and that makes it plus. Now I'm going to solve this. -1/3. Now, -1/3 times 3. Multiply across, you get -3 over 3, which is just -1. And then I add 4. And here you are. So, 2 things I want you to remember for this assignment. 1, put everything into y-intercept form. Unless it just explicitly says to write the point slope form. Put everything into y-intercept form. And then for this assignment, it is not written explicitly in your book, but I want you to do this. Graph every function. So every answer you get, I want you to practice graphing it for this section. You just can't get enough graph practice. So it doesn't say it necessarily in your book, but I want you. So if you get what we just got there, y equals negative 1/3 plus 3, you've done all of the work, then I need you to throw it on a graph. Down 1/3. I want you to get so good at graphing. This will pay off for you, I promise. All right, if you're ready, finish up your notes, read through the section, and begin your assignment.